Hello, this is Mike Lodge. I'm glad that you've joined me. I am the business advisor, and we're going to be talking about various issues in the economy and in business and everything else. I have to put my glasses on because I'm going to be doing some reading here. Listen, it's a beautiful day here in South Carolina. I wish you could see it. Beautiful sun going through the green trees, but a lot of that green is turning to red and the fall beginning to fall. I mean. Well, listen. We have a lot of things going on in the economy. And one of my points of doing this podcast is trying to get people to understand that when we look at the economy, we have to look at just more than two things. We're not just looking at the unemployment. We're not just looking at inflation, but we're looking at a various storyline that includes a lot of different aspects of the economy. I was amazed today. I was reading an article on Bank of America, and the CEO came out. His name is Brian Moynihan. Brian Moynihan said in his interview that Americans are at their limit. They have spent all the money that they have, almost. Savings is down. But they have spent everything, and now they are starting to slow off. So when we hear the economy say, "Oh, we had good retail numbers," well, you have to look at the time period of those retail numbers. What was happening during that period? A year ago, no one was buying. This year, they have to make up for whatever they did not buy last year. You can't continue to let the kids go around in jeans that their legs are now up past their ankles. They had to buy new school books and new school apparatuses, whatever they take to school now. So in September, we had all of this going on compared to last year, where the economy, no one was buying. And so now they're making up for lost time and trying to get things back into a place where the kids now have clothing and they're able to do what they need to do. And also a lot of people were coming off their summer vacations. So we have to look at that. But he points out in his article, and the article is posted below if you want to read it, is that Americans are at their limit. They no longer have the savings that they had. The money that they saved up during the pandemic is gone. I read an average amount of savings now is at a $4,000 limit. Listen, when you only have $4,000 in the bank and you know that your credit cards are pretty much maxed out, you slow down on your spending. So you spend only on the necessities. And the necessities at the moment is covering your rent or home payment, covering your insurance for your car and your car payment, covering your utility bills and your food. You have those aspects that you have to cover. And with $4,000, you're kind of limited to buying anything else. So it's going to slow down, and it is slowing down. But retail sales in September compared to last September, that's going to be different because we had two different types of economies a year ago. So we have to watch what we're reading and what we're looking at because it's just tough. It's really tough. Now, the other thing is the mortgage demand, people trying to get new loans. Mortgage demand falls to the lowest level since 1995 as interest rates near 8%. Well, of course, that's going to happen. It's going to happen because individuals can no longer afford to purchase a home. Families no longer have that cash down payment to buy a home because they've sucked it all dry trying to stay alive. Well, that would be a good sign. Sucked it all dry, trying to stay alive. Well, that would be a good song. So all of you country western people, hook me up and I'll give you some more lines to that. Just joking. So we do have that problem. So and the other issue is that homes are still is not affordable. So trying to find a home that's affordable for a family is nearly impossible anymore. Now, hopefully we start seeing these numbers go down on home prices so that it will open up a new market. But if you got interest rates up to 8%, that makes your home mortgage payment on a monthly basis quite high. And if you're going adjustable, it could even kill you. And that's what's happened with so many of the defaults now, is that they were on adjustable rate mortgages where when the feds go up, so does the home mortgage payment go up because of the interest rates. So we have to watch that very carefully. And if you're going to buy, hold off. What I've told all my clients, hold off buying any real estate until we know exactly what's going to happen in the mortgage side, what we're going to do with all that. Because if you can't afford, don't push your financial strength. If you can't afford those monthly rates or those monthly mortgage payments, it's not for you. Do something that is advisable for you to remain financially solvent. And one of those things that I've told you so many times, pay down on your debt. You've got to pay down on your debt. If you pay off your debt, you can do other things. You've got that money freed up now so that you're able to do just a little bit more financially, either in investments or retirement plans or purchasing a home. But until you pay down that debt, you are going to be in trouble financially if you take on a home mortgage that is at 8%. It's just not the right time. And if you're paying for an overpriced home, you're even in stupider times. And I call them stupider times because you just cannot do that. You buy homes that you can afford, not what you can't afford. And that's where many Americans get into trouble, is that they're overstretching their financial bounds. Got to set some financial boundaries, as I told you. Have to do it. Now, when I was a kid, well, not even a kid, but when I was a young adult, as I got out of college, I moved to Portland, Oregon to start my career. So I moved to Portland and I lived up in a neighborhood called Mount Tabor. And it was right across from an old hospital that they had closed down. But at one point in time, it was the heyday of the hospital. It was like the #1 hospital. It was way up on top of a hill. And a lot of people, did you just see my dog walk behind me? How rude is that? He gets into he's photo bombing my podcast. How disgusting is that? Skippy is his name, by the way. But I lived up in that section of town. And when that hospital was alive, it really brought a lot of things in, a lot of business into that neighborhood. And one of them was an old drugstore. And there was a drugstore where you went in to get medical supplies and to refill your drugs, your medical drugs. But inside it had a great counter. And in that counter, you could sit down, wait for your medication to be rung up. But you could sit down there at the counter and you could order a nice hamburger. You could get an ice cream milkshake, a milkshake that was in those old steel canisters that get really cold, right? And you poured it out and it was so cool. Well, you could do that. And it was very cheap. And I remember that as my most I remember that in my mind so much as a memorable experience, because it's where the neighborhood came and they talked and they chatted and they did all that stuff. Well, in today's market, we have CVS, we have Rite Aid, we have all of those things happening, right? All of those kinds of drugstores. But they went too big and they tried to supply everything from makeup to candy to everything. So, and also you can buy milk there now. The problem is that they got too much business in there. And people decide, I really don't want to go there to do my shopping. And so the stores began to see slower and slower sales. But then they started also they also started to lock up a lot of different things. If like right now, if you go in to buy a razor blade, it's all locked up. And so you have to call someone and they come and they unlock it so that you can get the razor blade out. But it never used to be that way. You could go in and get your bandage, you could get your stuff for sprains, you could get everything medically. And then drugstores expanded and offered a lot more stuff. But who wants to go into a drugstore to buy milk? I mean, I just don't want to do that. So now drugstores are in trouble financially. And if you look at Rite Aid, they have been in trouble for several years. They have been losing money for several years. So now they have to do something. But when you have CVS and Rite Aid and other local drugstores in neighborhoods now losing money and being attacked by gangsters going in and robbing them dry, you have a problem. And it has affected financially these drugstores. So now they have to start closing down or go into bankruptcy. So that limits neighborhoods to what they have available to them, where they can get the drugs. I always call them drugs. I should say medical prescriptions, where they get their medical prescriptions. So what has happened now? Well, Walmart now has opened up. They're opening up more drugstores inside the Walmarts. Costco is doing the same thing. Well, Costco has been doing it for quite some time. But those are the places and kinds of companies, and even in, like, if you go up to the grocery store up the street from me, you will find that they also have a drugstore now. So you're going to see these being replaced inside other stores. The services will be inside other stores. So Rite Aid business will probably go to Walmart or Pavilions or some other place where now they're doing miniature drugstores inside their grocery stores. And that's been happening for a long time. So when we look at alternatives, we have to say, okay, where will they go? Well, they're going to go other places. Even though we like to have the Rite Aid in our neighborhood so we can go over there. Unfortunately, I don't go over there to buy my medical supplies. Well, a little bit, but I go there to buy licorice. I am misusing the drugstore to buy licorice. So we're going to see changes. We're going to see changes in on how we have drugs, medical prescriptions delivered to us. In fact, now they're even delivering them to your house. You can order them online. So we're going to be seeing that. We're going to see that a lot of these delivery home companies will start delivering them at your home. So we have a whole bunch of options. So it's amazing that, okay, yes, we're going to see some drugstores die out, but we're also going to see other alternatives come in. And a lot of us probably will go to the online drugstore and purchase a lot of our medical supplies and also medical prescriptions that we need. So we're going to see changes. So don't feel that we're losing something permanently because it's being replaced by something else. I also saw another article which I found very interesting. Let me find it for you just 1 minute. But it was talking about the knowledge of, or the skills, I should say, of excuse me, of people. And it said the looming skills crisis, 49% of workforce skills to vanish by 2025 thanks to AI. Well, that's going to happen. And we're seeing it happening now. And I've even been tempted to start using AI. And I'm looking into it. But the issue is, what are we going to do with all of these displaced employees, these workers? What are we going to provide them as work? Are they going to be trained heavily into AI? Are they going to be trained into the field? What are we going to do with these displaced workers? 2025 is going to be here very quickly. So this is a thought process that all companies, all businesses, all government entities need to be thinking about. How are we going to deal with displaced workers? What are we going to do with them? How are we going to retrain them? How are we going to motivate them to know that even though we're going through this change, that there will be something available for them. We have to think about those things because it's going to come up. And times change. You and I change. I was looking at an AI service that can help write content. And so I'm going to try them out just to see how good they are. They can write my content for my blogs and help me present a good article when they do write the blog. I might consider it. But I also don't want to lose my ability to write. I want to be able to be creative. I want the ability to strive and do great things in my blog side. So maybe what I have to do is take an AI, put in my words that I need to write an article, and then it writes the article, and then me be able to edit it and add other items that I would like to add. So, because AI is not going to be able to cover everything that you want to talk about or what's here and what's in the heart. It just won't be able to do that. So you're going to have to take that AI content and soften it up and make it more humanized. Because what I've seen come off of AI blogging is that it's very stiff, very, very stiff. And you don't want that when you're talking to individuals, when you're talking to human beings. So that's it for today. That's the end of my podcast. I want everybody to go out there and have a great day. It's going to be a good Wednesday. We have sunshine out. It's 52 degrees outside. It's nice and cool. A nice time for a walk. Get out and get some air, get some oxygen in your lungs, get some vitamin D on your face. It's a great day for that. Everybody go and have a great day. Listen, also, if you would like to send me a business question, send it to thebusinessadvisor@gmail.com. If you want to sit down and talk with me about business issues confidentially, you can go to my website at www.lodge.co.com and schedule an appointment with me. And those are right here. Talk with you soon. God bless. Bye-bye.